Um, Honestly, it depends on the situation. There's no golden rule. Sometimes when you blink, let me take off my glasses here. Um, I'm wearing glasses because my eyes are very tired uh, after looking at a screen for the last too many hours. But when you blink, you can either start with the brows first, kind of push down here and then blink, or lead with your eyelids and then the brows. Which one should lead? Oftentimes for me, it's dependent on what the subtext is. What is the character feeling in this moment? So an example for this would be, is it emotional or thought? If it's a thought, usually the blink happens first because the eyes are like directly attached to the brain. And when we have a thought, you'll notice that your eyes change direction. So for example, this is not like a true 100% science, but there's kind of a common thread to this, where if we think of a memory, we tend to look up in one direction. If we kind of think of, I forget the exact things. If we think of words, we point our eyes in a different direction. If we are, what's the other ones? My brain's not working too well right now. The poor thing, it's overclocked. But essentially, when we think of different things, when we access different parts of our brain, our eyes will move in different directions. And that's because it's kind of showing a reflection of our thoughts. This is why when we think of blinks, there's three main reasons for blinks. My camera is too close. I always feel like I need to zoom out a little bit later on. So there's three main reasons for blinks. The first is keeping our eyes moist, making sure our eyes don't dry out. The second is thoughts. When you have a different thought, you're going to blink. So for example, let's say I'm thinking here and I'm just animating, and then I have this thought of, I'd like some cookies. I feel like having cookies. My brain has changed tracks. I'm animating, I'm thinking about that, and then whoop, cookies. We're on that track now. My eyes will show that as blink, eye change direction. Cookies. There's a new thought. It shows that change. The third thing is when you have a head direction change, you're going to blink in the middle to make it so that your brain doesn't get overloaded with information. And this is something everyone here can try. Just hold your eyes open and turn your head back and forth. Don't even have to go fast with this. It doesn't take long before you get really dizzy or it starts feeling kind of queasy. When we turn our heads, we blink so that we reduce the amount of visual noise that happens when you move your head from side to side. So, our eyes are really tied into our thoughts. So if the character is thinking something or having a change of thought or something like that, eyes will probably blink first. If the character is having an emotional change, brows are more tied to emotions. If I get angry, my brows will come in. If I get surprised, my brows will go up. If I'm sad, my brows will kind of come down there. If I'm curious, like that. So if the thing that character is doing brings on an emotional change, oftentimes I'm going to try to bring the brows up first or down first. I'll lead with those. If the thing is so we have those two things, which are kind of either thought or mental processes. The other thing that we can kind of think of is, what are they reacting to? So, for example, are they looking at something and reacting to something they see? In which case the eyes should act first. So if I see something that surprises me, my eyes might kind of open up first and then my brows, because it's that visual stimuli that has made me react. If I hear something, it's not going to be my brows or my eyes that lead, but my head direction, where it's like, what? Think of it like if you were a cat or a dog, you could turn your ear. That would act first. As humans, we can't do that. So what's going to happen is your head direction is going to tweak a little bit, where you go, huh? And then you react. If you taste something, or if you're going to say something, your mouth might react first. especially like taste, where you taste something and you kind of taste it and you might have the mouth kind of shrivel up. Like imagine biting into a lemon. The mouth might react first because the tongue is what is biting into this acidic, horrible fruit. I love lemon, by the way. Lemon bread, so good. But the mouth might react first and then the eyes. It's not a science. It's not absolute. It will do this, but it's a way of thinking about it. So it's a lot of just studying and kind of thinking through what you want the audience to think about. The other thing is shoot reference and look at what leads in your shot. Sometimes you will be very surprised where you might think, okay, so the eyes are going to lead. Definitely. I've had shots where I shoot my reference and my nose leads. Like a nostril will flare first before the eyes. Like, why my nostril? I just kind of took a breath in that moment, but it's like, I kind of like that. That kind of adds this unique moment that I wouldn't have normally. So yeah, it's really studying and just thinking of what is being accessed in that moment.